My name is Joop, but some of you might also know me by my Instagram alter ego Parked in Dutch Streets. Ever since I became a car spotter, I've met loads of interesting fellow car enthusiasts and car spotters. In this podcast, you'll meet one of these car lovers every episode. We'll talk about the cars of their lives, the cars they like, and the cars they despise. This is the Carspotcast. Welcome to another episode of the Carspotcast, already the third episode. Thank you for listening again today. After last week's episode, you probably already heard, or last week's, 2 weeks ago, last episode, you already heard that we were in someone else's house. Someone was rumbling through the podcast, some kittens were rumbling through the podcast, and today we're actually releasing the episode with the host that's currently receiving us. Welcoming to the podcast, one of the queens of car spotting, Maurice, also known as Plankont. Welcome to the episode.
Well, thank you. And I must say, I'm a bit disappointed. You introduced me as the queen of car spots, and I'm the third in line. Shouldn't I have been the first?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't want to dive on your success, right? I need a little bit of my own success before I invite that boost over, right?
Okay. Well, I'll buy it for now.
Yeah, that's good, right?
But thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm very happy to have you. You're, of course, one of the car spotting accounts that probably most of the listeners of this podcast know. Probably most of my followers also know.
We share quite some followers, I think. Yeah, we're in the same area.
We're in the same corner of car spotting. Yeah. So, Maurice, for the people that do not know you, the two people still existing.
That's not overreact. It's three, actually.
Just kidding. Yeah. Okay, so who are you, Maurice? How old are you? No, sorry, we're not going to ask that question.
Oh, yes, you can ask that. I'm 28, so there's no problem at all. No, I'm Maurice. I live in Amsterdam, and I'm turning 50 this year. I'm hoping to turn 50 this year. Half a century of Plankont.
Half a century.
That's a thing, right?
Could you tell the followers a little bit about how they might know you, about Plankont, and how do you express your passion for cars? What is it that you do that makes you happy?
Well, actually, I plan to check in the DMs of Instagram how and when we met. I can't even remember. We got to know each other quite early, I think, right?
I think at some point you just shared one of my posts and I was, oh my God, he shared me. And then we just started talking.
I think that could be it. Yeah.
With the other two guests, it's been the other way around. I've been sharing their content, but now we're turning the favors. Yeah. But I think that's how we met. We started talking, and then at some point we met at some events, I think.
We met at some events, and we got along quite well. We share the passion for the same kind of crappy cars.
Yeah, I think we do.
Except for a certain Fiat. But as I heard last time, yeah.
We said no chroma this episode. Come
on.
We
wouldn't talk about chromas. Okay. I won't talk about chroma. No chroma.
Yeah, that's...
So we do share a similar passion of cars. And you asked me how I express my passion of cars. Well, actually, mostly through Plankont.
Yeah.
Through the account. And it was kind of a necessity because I have all kinds of shitty information in my head since, 50 years now, almost. And I needed somewhere to put it. And I, like many of you actually, I started to put it on a private Instagram account. But no one gives a shit. At least no one gives a shit about what I know about cars in my friend circle. Outside of the car people, of course. And then I thought, I'll just start something and let's see what happens. Well, there we are.
There's many universities in the world that have beautiful libraries filled with information, with old books, with desk studies. I could say that I just had a look in your library because holy crap, you have a lot of information stored in this house regarding crappy cars. I must admit I do. People always think that I know everything about cars, but I know nothing. I just know where to look and what to look for. That's the trick. I could just look back at what car news was released in the week of my birth.
Yeah, but that's 2 weeks ago.
In 1997.
Everyone can look that up.
In 1997, you actually had an auto week, and we saw that there was a Lancia Zeta in there, We saw, I think, an Xara Breck and a Mondeo station wagon, which is, of course, it's perfect.
Fords.
It fits
You like
perfectly,
Fords,
right?
do you?
Yeah, I do. But it's,
I don't like Fords.
you do. You like the forgotten Fords.
I,
There's some Fords you like.
Kind of, but they're kind of nah.
Okay, you're in for a treat today. Anyways, no, it's really friendly that you're inviting us over here and that you want to be a guest on the podcast. So
My pleasure.
Let's have some fun. Let's talk cars, and let's go to the first segment, which is the car spotlight, in which you can choose any car that you want to put in the spotlight today, Maurice. It can be a car that you spotted, can be a car you had a recent encounter with. I am very curious to know what you chose.
But I think you already know what I chose. It's a bit of a pet project for me, and it's probably a car that gets the spotlight quite often, but not in a way its maker had intended it to happen. It's the Renault Laguna, the second generation, the Lala Laguna.
Of course, you were.
As we call it. Of course, I chose that.
Of course.
Someone needs to be talking about that, other than the people of road assistance.
You just literally take any opportunity to talk about that car, right?
Yeah, actually, I do. No, but it needs to be reinstated. It needs to get credits for something. Well, but first, okay, I always make jokes about this car because it's a truly bad car. It's been shoddily built. Pieces fall off of it.
When they facelifted it became good again, but its image was so bad that no one bought it again, right?
Exactly. With the third generation, they even tried to... It was quite a good car, actually, by then. But nobody wanted to buy it anymore because of the name, which is completely, utterly fascinating to me. But it's a good-looking car. I remember very well, that's the advantage of being 50, nearly being 50, that we went to the Paris Motor Show only to have a look at that car back in 2000 because I was so in love with it. It looks so incredibly cool and like nothing else. And especially compared to the then new Mondeo, it's the third generation, I think.
Yeah.
And we had the C5, the first C5, the
at
blobby
that Paris
one.
Motor Show, they had the same release date.
It was the same release date.
And I think everyone was expecting the C5 to be fabulous, but instead the Laguna turned out fabulous.
It was dreadful.
Yeah.
And the Mondeo was maybe a bit boring. Sorry to say that again. But the Laguna looked like something else.
The Mondeo is one of my favorite cars ever made. That Mark III. Anyways, yeah?
Okay, well, there's a first for anyone to ever have said that too. Okay. But back to me.
Yeah. Back to the start, yeah.
But the Laguna was the actual reason that we went there because I just wanted to see it in real life. Mm-hmm. I later heard, by the way, that they had trouble with the car at that motor show because of the electronic card, the Renault key card. And they couldn't get the cars off the display stands and on the display stands because they wouldn't work because of some magnetic field, whatever. So the writing was on the wall, kind of. But I really liked it. And then it turned out to be one of the shittiest cars. I really think so. One of the shittiest cars built over the last 30 years.
You've never owned one, right?
I've never owned one.
I've owned two C5s.
I have owned two C5s. I've driven as a lease car Megane from the same era, which wasn't the most reliable car I had, to be honest. But I've never owned one. I don't dare to.
Yeah, you don't dare to.
I bought an Avantime.
Yeah.
And I think that's more reliable than a Laguna 2. So
more sensible choice.
There you go. Yeah, that's a sensible choice over the two.
Oh my God. Yeah, I think what's always interesting is that when, especially looking at your Instagram account, you have a background in marketing and advertising, right?
Yep.
So I think it is very interesting what your take often is on the advertising of cars like this. And with the Laguna being such a commercial, well, actually success in the beginning. It was
a huge success in the beginning.
And then having to crisis manage that whole disaster waiting to happen, I think that's just fascinating to look into.
It's fascinating. Well, actually, I'm even more fascinated about how they got there, how they got to build a car so bad.
Yeah.
Actually, pieces fell off, and perfectly normal pieces like wheels that car makers have been building for 100 years, and it just everything goes wrong with that car, not just the electronics. So it's utterly fascinating, and I still think it's a super good-looking car.
You still find quite some of those Lala Lagunas out in the open.
Yeah,
How are they still driving around?
Well, I can imagine if people wanted to bring one back and buy another car, that people garage owner just didn't want it back.
Yeah. Yeah, true. I've heard stories back in that time that some lease companies at some point rejected Lagunas from being sold to their lease.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
Yeah, I can.
But jokes aside, it was a big success, and I remember back in the early 2000s, it sold like crazy, mainly because of the safety features.
Oh yeah.
It was the first car ever to have 5-star rating on Euro NCAP. Yeah. So they had only had 4 stars, and then they crashed that car. I still wonder how they got it to crash, but okay, let's put that aside. But they crashed it. Someone pushed it against the wall. They put the magnet card against the wall, and then
they wanted to start it. Shit, it doesn't start. We can't crash it today. Yeah, sounds typical.
That's probably what happened. It's so safe it couldn't start, so they gave it 5 stars. No, but they had to invent a 5th star for it. People really bought it. People bought a lot of French cars back then.
In the first 2 years of the Laguna, it was
crazy,
success,
So. And then trouble started, and Laguna was out of business. I think it's a great looking car, and it drove quite nice. I was a bit disappointed by the interior. It's a bit bland. To be honest, the C5 looks better inside. It's more cozy. We talked about cozy cars last time. It's more warm.
A C5 has a lot of buttons too.
It has, yeah.
It's filled with buttons.
Yeah.
Dashboard.
Yeah, all oval. It's very designed, but not in a good way. Yeah, I own 2. And I still think once you're inside, you don't have to look at the outside. Yeah. It's one of the most comfortable cars I ever owned. And the 2-liter was even quite reliable as well, yeah.
Will there ever be a Laguna?
The thing is...
Just for fun.
Well, fun may not be the word here, but, but maybe if I need a nice container to put plants in outside, it could be a good option. But but the thing is, I have an Avantime. I own an Avantime, which is even more outrageous. And I also really like the Megane too. I own one of those. I've driven one of those. So I wouldn't mind having one of those back.
Yeah.
So the Laguna might just fall in between.
Yeah.
But you never know what happens.
It's a really nice car for someone else.
But it's a really nice car for nobody else. Yeah. I don't hate people that much, but still, yeah.
That is an eventful car spotlight. Mine is boring. I'm going to tell you already.
Okay. Let me guess. A Ford.
No. I chose a car I hate. We already discussed it today. At the point this episode is released, we are at the very start of #wannabe SUV week.
Oh no.
In which we are going to talk about cars, post cars, that are wannabe SUVs. So they have the looks of the SUVs, but not the performance of the SUV. So I chose a car that I think is the root of all evil.
Ooh.
It's the Nissan Qashqai.
Come again?
I see Don literally like, what the hell are you doing? You're looking at me like, why the hell are we talking about this? Well, for me, in my memory, it is the root of all evil. I think before the Nissan Qashqai, a car was just a station wagon. A car was just an SUV. Maybe the car had a hint of another body type, like a Volvo XC70 or a Land Rover Defended extended wheelbase, but there weren't any crossovers. That word, I hate that word so much. I think this car started, and for some reason, all the boomers who bought Scenics before, I'm trying to lure you in this story.
Yeah, well, you lost me at boomer.
Yeah,
but no, I'm just thinking about it because it is the root of all evil. You call it. That's a big word for the car that saved Nissan in Europe.
It did save Nissan, yeah. But
then again, that may be the evil.
That may be the evil because I don't think Nissan is selling anything.
And isn't it kind of a Renault in disguise?
No, it isn't. I don't think
the Qashqai? Isn't it just a Megane platform with a SUV-ish, crossover-ish thing built on top?
Jesus, that makes it even worse for me.
I think the Qashqai has just become very attractive. No, but I get where you're from.
Yeah,
it is a bit, especially because everybody drives SUVs these days, or aspires to drive one.
At that point, it was something refreshing. It was a rugged-looking sort of crossover thingy, offered the room of a Golf Astra Focus wagon, whilst being priced at the price point of just a hatchback.
Until then, we had Volvo's XC90, and Range Rovers, and oh god, we had what were these things called again? The American army car,
Jeeps.
No, not the other one. The other one, the super posh ones. Oh god, I forgot.
Escalades? Oh no, you mean the GM Suburbans?
The Hummers.
Oh, Hummers.
I meant the Hummers.
Porsche.
There was a trend.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
they started out as a kind of,
Yeah.
And then, but there wasn't a SUV regular price without 4x4. I think that's what the trick was with the Nissan.
I think that's what the trick was. They made it accessible. They actually put all the things that make an SUV, namely 4x4, heavy engines. They just put that out.
Yeah.
They left the looks and people bought it. They bought it because they were used to boring cars, and that Nissan looked exciting.
It was a huge gamble. They didn't offer any Almera or a Golf-sized car anymore.
They canceled that car for the Qashqai. Yeah, and I think back then it was interesting and it was something new. In retrospective, it's the root of all evil.
Yeah, and I get where you're from. Yeah, I get that because and SUVs are so SUV.
For Wannabe SUV Week, I've literally been hunting a Qashqai down. In that first generation with that orange color, I've been hunting one down. It's taken me. Dan is literally looking like he's falling asleep in the corner. I've been looking for orange pre-facelift Qashqai for weeks, and I finally...
Was there a facelift?
Pre-facelift. There was a facelift, yeah.
I can't even remember.
I looked for one for weeks. I finally found one, and I made terrible pics. I think it's going to
on purpose, or just a regular.
Just my regular pics.
Okay, yeah. No, just being.
And they were terrible.
Just being interested.
Yeah, and I'm going to post it tomorrow because, of course, it's all fun and games. But I do think this is a car that literally changed the automotive industry.
It's an important car.
I do think it is.
It's the root of all evil. I think you're right, but it's an important car. So now we're stuck with SUVs thanks to that thing.
We actually made a Qashqai interesting. I think
a bit.
The listeners can judge on that. Dan is like, meh. Anyways, we're going on to the next segment, Maurice, which is the cars of your life. In this topic, the audience meets the cars of your life, and they meet the cars that played a vital role in your life. But I want to start with your parents' car, or any car from your youth that sparked that love for cars.
Well, I got a bit of preparation beforehand, and you were asking about my parents' car, but I think that's the reason why I like everyday cars so much, because most of my youth, my parents didn't own a car, which was a big trauma for me, being a car enthusiast. So we didn't have one. I think we had a Citroën Diane when I was born a long time ago, and then we had a Renault 6, and after that, nothing. So from my 9th or 10th year onwards to 15 or 16, we didn't own a car, and I really wanted a car.
This is traumatic to you.
It was traumatic. So my parents would always be talking about, oh, maybe we should get a car, and then it would have to be cheap, so maybe a Lada, or I was happy with anything with four wheels. But we never got a car until we got that actual car, which was a rundown car from my dad's company where he worked. And it was a Talbot 1100, which is the Simca 1100, a van, so the commercial van, with a rear seat put in. And it made a terrible noise. It wasn't insulated. There wasn't even a cover on the backside of the roof. So I remember driving past, I come from Nijmegen, where there are lots of trees. And we were driving in it, and something fell out of a tree, and it felt like someone threw a bomb at us. Still a surprise why we didn't end up in a ditch. But that was our car. As a result, I obviously later in life bought a Talbot 1100. But not having a car around was quite influential, actually, because that's why I like most cars that most people don't like.
I think I spoke with a friend about this yesterday, who I'm actually helping to buy a first car right now. I think a car, for me, it encapsulates freedom. It gives you the ability to get in there, travel somewhere you want to go in any time. It just feels like freedom for me. So I can completely imagine not having that, seeing other people around that do have that, sort of not traumatize you, but of course made you inspired by just regular cars.
No, I think it was traumatizing.
Oh.
No, because everybody was had cars.
Yeah.
I had a friend at school whose dad, this was I think 83 or 84, had a brand new Ford Sierra.
Ooh.
It was like a spaceship.
Yeah, of course.
I can still remember that.
Yeah.
And I was so impressed. And I was a car fan. So, of course, I wanted my parents to have a car.
Yeah.
But my dad said, we have a Gazelle. You have to know this. Gazelle is a Dutch bicycle brand. And I'm perfectly happy with the Gazelle. So there we went. So yeah, and the car that was quite influential was my uncle and aunt's Ford Fiesta, a 1.1S from 79. So a very early model. Beige with a brown stickers on it.
Yes.
Ooh, I love that car. And a brownish orange interior. But somehow I didn't become a Ford fan like you. I've always been interested in Citroens.
But you have posted nice Fords.
I have posted
and you
nice
also
Fords.
know nice stuff about Fords.
Yeah, it's interesting enough. The history of the brand is interesting enough. But I think to own them, they're a bit too unexceptional. A bit bland actually.
I definitely do not agree. Anyways, your first car is not a Citroën.
No, it's not a Citroën. So, because we didn't have any car at home, I wanted to buy my first car. My parents were giving all these parental advices. Oh, it's going to be super expensive and you have to buy something reliable. And I was listening, even though what did they know? They didn't have a car. But still. So I ended up with an Opel Kadett, like the rest of everyone in the Netherlands.
I cannot think of you getting an Opel Kadett. Honestly, this is so shocking to me.
From a neighbor. It was on sale just around the corner from my house. It was a 1.2S. I think it was an S. Maybe it was an N. I can't even remember. And it was brown, rusty orange brown. And it was the good thing about it. It was the 2-door version, not a sedan, but a 2-door hatchback with a small boot lid. Mm-hmm. You never see. And I still wonder why Opel made that car in the first place. And I owned it for 3 months.
Yeah.
Because I thought, well, if I can own an Opel Kadett and pay for that, I might as well buy a Citroën. So I sold it with a profit and then started looking for my first car that I actually liked.
Yeah.
Which was the Citroën BX.
I actually put in this car that we needed to talk about this car because
obviously,
the BX has played an immense role in your life, right?
I was counting yesterday, I've owned 7. You know, the thing is, I really, it was a kind of a midway choice for me because I wanted a Citroën because of all the weird dashboards, the stuff and everything. But I didn't dare to buy a GSA because it's too weird and it was rusty. And the
I love the GSA though. It's nice
brilliant.
Car.
It's super good. It's a super nice car. It's so specific.
Yeah.
There's nothing normal about it.
Nope.
And the other option was a Visa, but they were quite rusty as well. And
they were kind of funky too, the Visa.
They drive super nicely. It's like being in a way bigger car. But okay, that one wasn't happening either. So I thought, okay, I'll go find something reliable-ish. And the BX was by then, you could buy one, 10-year-old one, for a decent amount. So I paid 4,000 guilders, which equals to 1,715 euros, I guess, at the Kuikse Autoservice in Kuik, near Nijmegen. For a for a burgundy red a BX 16 TRS with a sliding roof, a sunroof.
Oh, so you actually got a luxurious one too.
I got an actual luxurious one, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So that's where BX happened. And then the car kind of stuck to me. Then I bought another one and another one and another one. And
I think you solely on your own dove the BX from the dip it was in.
I'd like to think I did, but
because you could get one for an apple and an egg. Can I say that in English?
But I actually got it for free.
Idea. You got one for free. There you go.
I got 2 for free.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I use these cars as daily drivers, and at a certain point
that point isn't over yet. Lucas, my friend, he got offered a BX brake for free.
But
yesterday.
Okay. Well, it must have been a really shitty one then, but
you should get it,
because prices are really on the rise.
Yeah.
With BXs.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't know. Someone who doesn't know the value of BX brake. I like the brake better than the normal one.
It's rare, but
it's hideous. I love it.
It's not very pretty.
Can you tell I have a thing for hideous station wagons?
You also almost think that, right? Yeah. Well, we're not talking about chromas today.
No chromas.
No chromas. No chromas.
No. But
so the X, it's kind of been my go-to car for a long time.
Would you ever get one again?
No,
it's over.
No, I'd really like. I still like it, but I've played all levels.
You sold your last one last year.
Yeah, half a year ago. Yeah. Yeah, because of Avantime.
Shift to current cars.
I shift to current cars, and I really had to sell something because living in near the center of Amsterdam,
you cannot own that many cars.
You can't own that many cars. No. Well, you can, but you have to drive all across the country to get one of them. So I put my maximum at 4 cars, one of them being a daily driver.
Which is, maybe we'll talk about that one first.
Oh, let's talk about that one first. It's a Mazda 6, the recent one. Your face is turning very...
I thought you were going to go... I just thought you were going to go silent after Mazda 6. That's it.
No, I actually like it. It's quite a nice car.
I've driven it. It's a good car.
Many people who have no idea about cars think I drive a Jaguar. But those are the people who don't have a clue about cars.
Yeah.
But it's kind of flashy with the red and the bright interior.
Yeah, it's really good.
And it's comfy and it's big and it gets you there. And it never, ever broke down on me, which is quite a...
Talk about flashy and breaking down. Avantime?
According to Renault, we have to say Avantime.
So it's avant French and time?
It's avant French and it's time for,
English.
Ahead of
Dan
time.
and I do not agree. We think Avantime.
Okay, dear people of Renault, we do not agree.
Yeah.
We also do not agree with you saying that the Laguna 2 is a good car.
Yeah. So, we can disagree on that, but take us through it. How did you get to that car?
Actually, it was easy. I saw it in the ad. I went there and I bought it. But but that's actually what happened because I wasn't planning on buying a new car.
The ad didn't have pictures.
The ad didn't have pictures. So I put a search on one of the second-hand car sites. I shouldn't have, but I did. It was an impossible search. Avantime, less than 100,000 kilometers. Well, I wasn't expecting anything to pop up. And then it did, just around the corner at Heemskerk, just near Amsterdam. And I said to myself, well, let's just have a look and then I can put it out of my head. There weren't any pictures in the ad, as you said. And I went there and it was beautiful. And the story was even better.
The story is marvelous. Tell the people.
It belonged to an old guy who had it as a hobby car, and he was allowed to store it in the Renault dealership at Heemskerk because he was a long-time client of theirs. His daily was another car. I don't even remember what. But the poor chap died of age, not of the Avantime. And luckily, and there it was. The family decided to sell it, and there it was. And I was the first one who stumbled upon the ad, and I remember I wanted it to. The salesperson told me we should have a drive, and I didn't bring my license because I wasn't planning on buying a car. Mm-hmm. Okay, he said, okay, let's do it anyway, and I'll join you. And I drove the car, and within 5 minutes, I was already convinced that I wanted it. And then I told him, "You're probably not going to lower the price, right?" And he said, "Nah." So that was it. I bought it on the spot.
That is a once-in-a-lifetime car. That is...
It is.
That's just a
and the good
one-time
thing is,
opportunity.
it still didn't break down on me.
Nope.
And I've driven it quite some places already.
But you've also been very careful with it, I think.
a bit too, maybe.
Yeah, you've been very treating it like it's your precious.
Yeah, it is. And I'm also a bit scared of it, to be honest.
You're scared of it breaking down.
Yeah.
Could there be any mechanic that knows how it works, do you think?
Well, apparently there's someone deep down in the Black Forest in Germany who in a cave under a tree with elves and gnomes walking around. No, but there is someone who knows to fix, and there's someone in the UK as well. Hi UK, I'll be on my way. So there are a few people who know how to work on it, but it's difficult. It's difficult to find pieces, parts for it. So it's not the easiest car, but it's such a cool car. Oh my god, it's so cool.
It's such a head turner. I've driven in it too, but was a great experience in my opinion.
But it's not very comfy or fast.
I think
or roomy.
The experience that will always stay with me was seated in the back of it. 5 big guys in the car. You driving it, seated in the back of it. You had all the windows open. Roof window, it opens too, right?
Yeah, it opens. It doesn't close, but it opens.
Everything was open. There was light everywhere. I could see that big dash. Sitting in the back of it, it was like something I've never experienced in a car. It was unique.
That's why I love it so much.
It is.
I cannot drive that car without people looking at me, putting a thumbs up or down. It's just a rolling piece of art. Actually, it actually is like that. It's the only concept car you can actually buy and drive.
I agree. Yeah.
With all the ups and downs that come with that. Yeah.
And the other cars you own.
So the Avantime made the BX Go, but it's found a very good home. And then I own a Citroën XM.
You've owned that for quite a while, right?
I've owned that for quite a while, since I think 2017. Mm-hmm. I suddenly realized I had to have a first-gen Citroën XM because they were all disappearing. And I started looking and I couldn't find anything anymore. So I got FOMO, when you really want it and then it's hard to find that you even want it more.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say the word thesis. But, so I had to have it. And I found one in Germany eventually. I wanted a nice color. It's green, grayish green metallic. And a plush version with all the nice gadgets. So I found that. And I had to have an XM because that was the car when I was young, 15, when it was launched. That was like the car.
Yeah. I think that car is my favorite Citroën. And then the XM, but even more so the BX. I don't know what it is with station wagons. I just love station wagons.
That's not a car. That's a box with a piece of XM in front of it.
God, Jesus.
That's so ugly.
I love it. It's perfect.
Yeah, you love the chroma too.
Yeah.
But no, it's not perfect. It's not perfect.
Anyways, I
a
love
freight container is perfect. A Citroën XM BX is not perfect.
But it is so unlike anything else. That is what makes it attractive to me.
Yeah, well.
Normal XM is too, by the way. So
yeah, no, but that's kind of stylish. But the BX, I really hate that car.
Does your XM have the extra window?
The 13th window, yeah, it does.
It does.
It does.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah, it does.
So please tell the people what that means.
That's difficult to explain because so it's a hatchback.
Yeah.
So between
liftback
hatchback, whatever, it's got a fifth door. And between the inner and the outer, actually, when you open the hatchback, there's another window, the 13th window, as they call it, that seals off the passenger space.
So people wouldn't get cold in
their necks. She wouldn't get cold in their necks.
I think I read somewhere that Citroën actually released that option so it could match BMWs, sedans, Mercedes from that time.
They really wanted to go upper class with it. And that actually happened during the first years.
I mean, I can imagine. Oh, that's so nice that yours has that option.
It has that option, yeah.
It's really cool.
But it is kind of nonsense.
Yeah, of course it is, but it's nice.
No one ever copied it.
It's a story.
So if it would have been a good idea, someone else would have picked it up. But yeah, it's a good story. Yeah, it has that.
It's the car with the most windows ever produced, I think.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it is.
Perfect. And that means there's one car
That means there's one car left. Yeah, the car
your Progetto.
My Progetto. It's actually coming out of storage this spring. It's the Alfa Romeo 164,
which is
the Mafia limousine.
I can tell you have a thing for big limousines.
I do. Yeah,
I love that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like my cars to be big, except for Twingo, the Renault Twingo. But I like big cars.
Yeah.
And this is kind of a youth thing for me. My best friend bought a 164 when we were, I think, 19, just going to university.
Yeah, perfect.
And he had worked his ass off for 2 years and saved a lot of money. And then, for us, it was a lot of money.
Course.
It was not enough to buy a decent 164, but okay, it bought a 164, the V6, the Buzo. And we had such a great time with it. And it always broke down. The engine went, it rusted. But we had the best adventures with it. So the car always kind of stuck to me, and I really like it. It's so beautiful. It's so classy.
I think if in the 90s you were working somewhere in business, some corporate bobo, and someone you wanted to head into business with would come in driving a 164, I would flee. Those cars were only driven by dubious people.
Yeah.
The whole car just screams dubious, mysterious.
Yeah, it's a bit menacing as well.
It's a very imposing car.
It's very imposing, and it's not even that big. And you know what? If you put the Alfa and the XM together, they actually look quite similar.
Yeah, true.
I never noticed, but someone told me, and I thought, right, I have two of the same cars.
The 164 is also a Tipo 4 car, right?
Yeah.
The car that also looks like a Tipo 4 car, is it the big Peugeot at the time?
The 605.
That looks like it's a Tipo 4 car, but it isn't.
It looks quite similar.
Yeah.
It's from the same designer, yeah.
That was such a great era for cars. I love sedans. Non-premium E-segment sedans. Perfect.
It was perfect. Yeah, it's perfect.
So what is the status of your project?
So the status of the Progetto is it's just been finished by my good friends of Classic Paradise Garage. May I do this?
Yeah, of course.
I'm gonna do this. So they just finished it. Took it out of storage for 2 years. Well, it's been for 2 years, and it's got MOT now. And I've got the wheels, the original alloy wheels, restored. And off we go. So I'm planning on having it here in Amsterdam in a few weeks.
Lovely. Such a miraculous collection of cars. It's really good. Okay,
it's quite eclectic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's never boring, I would say. Maurice, we're going to continue to the next segment, which is car conversation. And in this segment, I am going to ask you as many questions as possible within 30 seconds.
I couldn't prepare this, so it's...
You couldn't prepare this. Does that scare you?
A bit. Well, not scared.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Okay. Are you ready for the questions?
Kinda, yeah.
We're going to answer as many as possible, right? So 3, 2, 1. What's your favorite car you own right now?
The Avantime.
Name your favorite spec of the Renault Megane Mark II.
The boot.
Name a car brand you have no feelings about.
Volkswagen.
Name a car brand you have all the feelings about.
Renault.
What's the best era of cars?
The 1980s.
What's a guilty pleasure car for you?
The Peugeot 307.
Name a car you despise.
The Renault Laguna 3 Coupe.
There we go. Sorry, I just had to have a reaction to 307.
I need more time. You said bleh, and then Rob me one more question.
You did a lot, though. You did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that's the most until now.
Yeah, to be honest, I've listened to one episode and I did a kind of a preparation. I didn't know what you were going to ask me, but I had some out there cars on a list.
I love it. Okay, good. So, he just shows me a Word document of cars he listed with the category with it.
So okay. I didn't get to mention the Oldsmobile Aurora or the Chrysler Vision or the Opel Sonata Bay, but that's for the next time.
Yeah, that's for the next time, which I'm sure will be. Your favorite car you own right now, the Avantime, I think. Yeah, we
talked about that. It's so obvious.
It, yeah. Your favorite spec of the Renault Megane Mark II? I actually expected you to come up. I want an authentic 1.6 with...
Oh, that's what you meant.
Yeah, so you can still change.
I would have needed 30 minutes for that to explain.
Oh, okay. Please don't, but...
okay.
Take us through it. How
Thanks
should it look?
Thanks for having me, and that's it then.
Yeah.
Right?
But take us through it. How should it look, the Megane?
I thought you meant the favorite part of
elements,
the car.
Yeah.
But the favorite spec. Oh, it's gonna be the upper one, the upper trim level, the Privilege.
Yeah.
With a 2-tone dashboard. The 5-door. That in the end looks better.
Okay.
Yeah, it's more subtle somehow. Mm-hmm. And probably in citrus yellow.
Okay. Oh, that color I remember it.
Yeah. It's not yellow.
It's green.
It's green, but they call it yellow. I hate yellow, but it's green.
Do you agree, Dan? It's green,
Dan
right?
is not agreeing on the...
My uncle had that in a 3-door in that color.
Okay. This does not mean I'm the uncle of Dan, by the way. in case you made that connection, because that's not true.
No, actually, that's the sort of color that people fight about. No, it's yellow, it's green, it's yellow, it's green. Saab had a color like that too.
Renault calls it yellow, but then again, Renault told us that the Laguna 2 would be a good car, so...
It's green.
It's green.
Good. People can look it up. It was a Privilege?
I think it's gonna be a Privilege Luxe, yeah. Okay. So it's a top spec with the glass roof and everything, including the car.
Spicy. Including the car. Name a car brand you have no feelings about.
Volkswagen.
Is there no Volkswagen car that's interesting to you?
Yeah, the Phaeton.
Yeah.
But that's not a Volkswagen, that's a Bentley in disguise, right?
The Phaeton is
that's
something of its own. That car deserves... I can talk about it for 20 minutes. It's ridiculous. I don't know if I'm going to talk a lot of facts.
I've never driven one, actually, so maybe we should drive one sometime.
This I think Dan is agreeing too.
Nice
this is a good request. If there's anyone listening with a Phaeton...
We're not going to buy it. We only want to drive it.
It's a great car for you. Maurice, I and Dan, we want to drive it. Preferably W12.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, preferably.
What's that?
V12.
Oh, you're talking about engines.
Oh,
I have no idea.
Or V10 TDI. V10 diesel.
I'm completely blank here.
Okay, good.
We'd like there to be an engine in it.
Yeah. A car brand you have all the feelings about.
I said Renault, didn't I? But it's going to be a bit of a Renault episode.
So change it up.
No, because I have a lot of feelings about it. Well, no, but the feelings are very are going all the way everywhere. So this isn't even English, right? Can we cut that out?
Yeah. No, keep it in. Yeah, you go.
I don't like you laughing at me like this. So I have very mixed feelings about that. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Because Renault can be brilliant at times, but it can be super dreadful and terrible at others, like now with the new 5 EV. I really hate that.
The new 5 EV? I love it.
No, I don't like it.
It's growing on me.
No.
I like the new Y better, but the R5 is growing on me.
It's a bland car with some 5 design elements sprinkled over it. It's just, nah.
What do you think of the baguette bag?
The baguette bag.
The baguettes.
It's just ridiculous. It's like that dreadful VW Beetle, the new Beetle.
I knew you were going to go there with the vase. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, stupid.
So they looked for the most idiotic feature ever made on a car, which was the vase on a VW Beetle, and then they thought, well, let's make it worse.
How can we make it even more?
Why
stupid?
would I want to bring a baguette? I'm not even French. You know, French people don't even bring baguettes in their cars.
At least. I didn't ask you what car brand do you think best about? What car brand makes you have the most feelings? And we can tell it is Renault.
It's Renault.
Yeah.
I hate them and I love them at the same time.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Best era of cars, the 80s.
I think it's the 80s, the late 80s, yeah.
Yeah?
Actually, it should be like between
But
87...
you're more rooted in like the 90s or zeros. Like you post more cars from the 90s and zeros.
Yeah, but that's because I like to find stories about cars that are kind of forgotten, and these cars are about to be forgotten.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But it's the Sierra from the XM and the Alpha, and so the late 80s, early 90s, I really like that. Okay. Mm-hmm. But it changes every 5 minutes, to be honest, with me.
Yeah, I mean, that's a real car lover, right? I always say there's 2 types of car lovers. There's one type of car lover that loves nice things, and there's a car lover that literally likes all cars or all sorts of cars.
I like most sorts of cars, yeah.
Recognizes a good car for what it is.
Yeah. Exactly. Like the Peugeot 307.
Jesus fucking Christ. Jeez. Honestly, I despise the 307.
What's wrong with it?
I hate everything about it. It is bland. It is ugly. It is unreliable. It is... Ugh. No, sorry.
But
nope.
Okay, but you could say that about a Lancia Thesis as well.
The Thesis isn't bland.
But 307 isn't either.
Oh, come
It's roomy, it's space. It became Car of the Year once.
When it was new, the Laguna, did it become Car of the Year?
No.
Oh, crap.
No. It was the same. No.
Ruins my arguments. Shit.
No.
But, okay,
I think it even became... No, it's not in the year of the Golf, but it was Car of the Year at 2000 whatever.
Yeah.
2, maybe?
I think 1. I'm not
1?
Sure.
Could be.
I'm not sure.
Well, we'll leave that.
Yeah. We'll look it up later.
We'll look it up. Yeah, you look it up. You've got Google.
Yeah.
You have Google too.
You're the host.
Yeah.
Fuck off. No. But no. Why is it the guilty pleasure car for you?
Yeah, because it's not the prettiest or most reliable car, but it's kind of, it grows on me. It's a typical Peugeot from the time. Peugeot thought, okay, well, we have a beautiful brand which is known for elegant, stylish, comfortable, well-built cars. Let's throw it all over.
My sister-in-law and her husband, they were looking for a new car, and they asked me a while ago to help them. They gave me a budget, and they said, okay, this is the objective. You should help us. And I ended up getting a sort of newer range of cars, A segment, B segment. So we're talking Hyundai i10, Kia Picanto. They're not car lovers. They just need the reliable car. Apparently. But then at some point, they decided that they're not going to use that money. They're going to take that money and use it somewhere else. I don't know. And they just decided to go for the first thing they saw, which was a Peugeot 307.
So they used the money after all on repairs.
I don't.
Why do you hate that car so much?
I don't think I've spoken this out to them, but I hated them for it.
Why do you hate that car so much?
Because that car is just so fucking bad.
Yeah, but so is the Fiat. What's that thing called? Stilo?
The Chroma.
No, Stilo.
Yeah, the Stilo, but I'm not...
From the same era.
I'm not telling them to get a Stilo either. I'm not telling them to do that. I would tell them to get an Astra or a Focus. Those are the reliable cars. Or A Yaris. Jesus Christ, a Yaris for €1,000. That thing just keeps on
but you have
going
to
on.
imagine, okay, the 307 is, 200 years old now?
20, I think, yeah.
20? But, when it was new, it was a car of the year. But actually, there's two reasons why I chose it, because I knew you would get going on this.
Yeah. Throw a bone, right?
And actually, Paul, my partner, who's now, who fled the house, he bought one back then, or he chose one as his new lease car.
How many cars does he like? How much does he know about cars?
Nothing. Next to nothing.
There you go.
So he got one, and just because it was car of the year, he thought, well, it's probably a good car then.
Yeah.
And I like that way of thinking. So, 307.
We could make a special.
This is a hidden gem. People invest in 307s. It's going to be the classic.
I want to cancel this podcast at this point. No. Good. And what's a car you actually despise?
The car, the new Beetle. We're just talking about it.
Did I ask you this question?
No, you didn't.
Oh, crap. Well, anyways, the new Beetle. You despise it. I despise it too.
It's dreadful. I hated the old Beetle. Then they made a new Beetle.
Yeah.
And then they made a new version of the new Beetle, which is the new Beetle, or is it the old Beetle?
I think,
and it's all crap.
I think this is a car we really agree on, which does not happen often, but we both hate the Beetle. Every generation of it.
It's dreadful.
I hate it. Good. Okay, car conversation. We sure had a lot of conversation there. Thank you for your opinions, Maurice. We're going to the last segment, which is the car search. Ooh. And in this segment, I provide every guest of a budget and objective for a search, and the guest has to come up with a car that fulfills the objective. I wrote an objective that is quite fitting to you. The objective is, I want my MPV for €10,000. Tell the people, you recently started a hashtag called #IWantMyMPV. What's the reasoning behind it?
I read somewhere that some director of Renault, I think it might even have been Patrick Lequemont, the head designer at the time.
Yeah. Person that designed the Twingo.
Yeah. He said that an MPV is the car that people will eventually go to if you lose all the ego around it.
Makes sense.
And it makes sense. It's the perfect car. It's aerodynamically good shape.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of room. It's everything you need.
Every new car released right now that is called a crossover is essentially an MPV.
It's an MPV, but drugged up with all kinds of plastic and wheels and shitty piano lock all over the place. But, an MPV makes sense.
I agree.
And I was thinking about it, and I thought, well, actually it does. So I'm suddenly all into MPVs.
Yeah.
Buying a crossover MPV Avantime spaceship thing did help a bit, to be honest.
Of course. It's not a typical MPV, but it's an MPV.
It's an MPV.
With a 3.5 V6.
So I was all about MPVs, and my aim is bringing the MPV back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Ambitious. Okay, so we're going to...
Working on it.
A top 3, right?
Top 3.
Your third choice. What did you choose?
Yeah, so I had €10,000. I had to find a car, but I thought I could just as well find 4 cars or 6 for the budget.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So I'm going to buy 6 Renault Scenic 2s. No, but actually I am. I found, look at this.
One.
That's one. But I'm not going to show all 6, but
that's the same color as Dan's
that's the same
Libra.
color. It's bleu orage.
Bleu orage.
Super nice.
Mais oui.
It's a Privilege Comfort 2E. I don't know what 2E means.
Dan has currently joined in on the conversation. Okay.
And it's on sale at a scrapyard near Amsterdam for €3,000.
Take your shot.
What's not to love? And it got the nice Renault Stella wheels. So
one.
That's the one. And then there's another one. It's another blue
I've
one.
actually seen that one. It has very low mileage, right?
It has super low mileage.
Yeah.
And a Dynamique Luxe. Automatic.
Hubcaps.
With cruise control. Yeah, but we can change them. And
blue.
It's blue. It's got a 2-tone dashboard. It's got everything you want. And then this one is really great. It's like a purple aubergine eggplant.
For €1,150.
For 11... What can possibly go wrong?
You still have about €6,000 left, or
yeah. So I can buy another 3 for that. So I can have 6 cars, super roomy, an MPV. It's everything you need.
What attracts you to this second generation of Scenic?
Yeah, look at it. It's beautiful.
I think the best part is the inside.
The dashboard is really nice.
I think
the inside looks better than the inside. It looks better than the Megane.
It feels
of that time.
Luxurious, spacious, light. It's a nice car.
Yeah.
It's a nice car.
If you press one of the buttons, you stick to it forever because
if you press one of the buttons,
you have to actually call the fireman to get you loose again because the material gets so sticky.
If you press one of the buttons, it probably falls apart.
That is, quite likely. But that's why I have 6. It's a win-win.
I went for a Renault in disguise. I went for a Dacia. And this is a car I completely adore. And this is the 3rd episode in a row we're talking about Dacias. Because it is authentic, it's exactly what it is supposed to be, and it's nothing more than that.
If it is what I'm hoping it is, I'm completely with you.
It's the Logi. Disappointment on Maurice's face.
Oh, wow.
I love the Logi. The Logi is...
You know what? I get it.
It is perfect to me. This is a stepway. I do not like that. But it was the best one I could find. In a nice blue color. You know what it is? It is so...
You know, everyone, he's really genuinely happy with himself now. You wouldn't believe it. With the Dacia Logi. But this is the man who likes the Fiat Croma. I see similarities, by the way.
I'm going to be honest. If I had 5,000 euros, 3 kids that I should move, and not a penny to spend anymore on a car, I would buy a Logi.
I would take the bus. Which actually feels a bit similar.
Yeah, I could pick you up, but you could come with me.
You could pick me up, but I wouldn't join.
I think
I wouldn't come.
In 20 years at car meets, if this shows up with 20,000 kilometers done, we're gonna love it. I would already love it. The Logi is the best Dacia ever made, I think. I love it.
It's a car. It's a choice. Good. I respect you for that.
Yeah. We have the daily dose of Dacia for a reason here. I think Dacia should be appreciated for what it is, which is nothing more than it aspires to be.
They are becoming a bit fancy, to be honest. So the complete basicness is going away, and that's a bit of a shame, actually. I was hoping you would say a Logan MCV,
which is a station wagon.
The station wagon Logan, yeah.
So it's not an MPV.
It's not an MPV.
No.
But it's called MCV, so that's close enough.
Almost the same. Good. Very French. Okay, Maurice, your number 2.
So the number 2. So this needs a bit of an explanation, but I'm the last person in the world who started watching Breaking Bad, the series on Netflix.
I think I've seen 1 episode, but yeah.
So I'm halfway the 5th season. I love it.
Oh God, you're gonna come up with something American.
I'm gonna come up with
something. Is it a Chrysler?
No, it's a Pontiac Aztek. With, you know how it looks, right?
Yeah, it's
hideous. This is the American Fiat Multipla.
Yeah, true.
It's brilliant.
You could buy 2 of those. 3.
You can have a tent. I hate camping, but you can have it. I want one with a tent just because it's perfect.
Isn't it an SUV? Isn't it a crossover?
I don't know what it is.
It's
even
just
Pontiac doesn't know what it is.
No, true.
But it's kind of an MPV. I think it was aimed at young people, blind young people.
Yeah.
And if you get stuck or if it breaks down, you have the tent. You can sleep in it. It comes with an air mattress that says Aztek as well.
Oh,
it's great. It's perfect.
I mean, owning one over here would be like nothing else. It's like your Avantime.
So I've seen one in the Netherlands ever.
I've seen one too in yellow.
Yeah, mine was black, and none since. And I think that's 4 or 5 years ago.
I think mine.
But owning an Aztek would really be something here.
I think mine. I saw it somewhere 10 years ago in a city called Geleen.
Ooh.
Yellow. Yeah, it was an experience. I should say it like that. Yeah.
Being in Geleen or seeing that Aztek?
Both.
Both. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, it was. I like your choice. It's a good car. I'm really.
It's not a good car, but yeah, it's
a bad car.
Special.
I don't know anything about it. Is it unreliable?
It's got this. I'm not sure, but it's got the same image as our Fiat Multipla does. So it's people love to hate it.
Yeah. My number 2 was actually Dan's first choice from last week.
Ooh,
I picked a Fedra.
Oh, the Fedra. Ooh,
Fedra. I don't know.
Fedra, whatever.
But I didn't just pick any Fedra. I looked for the best one in Europe, and I think I found it in Italy.
Ooh,
it is
that's good.
2.2 diesel. It has a blue exterior, and if I'm reminded correctly, it also has a blue leather interior.
It seems to be a facelift model, is it?
Yeah, I don't mind. That's good for me.
It was got a blue interior as well.
It has sort of 3-tone blue because it's the blue of the outside, the blue of the dashboard, and the blue of the seats, which I think is just
So they put Alcantara on the dashboard and leather on the seats.
Perfect.
And in a shade that doesn't match. I think that's very Italian. Or maybe the sun bleached it somehow.
No, I think it's supposed to not match.
Oh, but it's nice. It's nice.
It's good, right? If I were to buy... I wouldn't buy a Phaedra. But I think this is one of the SUVs I admire.
No, it's not
MPVs.
good. Sorry.
Oh, what?
No, it says 170 HP on the rear.
170?
But that's not a Lancia thing to do. Flaunt your horsepowers around.
I would get it
That's
off.
very unclassy.
Oh. Drag that badge off and just drive it. It's a diesel.
No, it's an original badge. You have to leave it on. You can't take it off.
It's a diesel.
Sorry.
Oh, okay. What do you think of the Phaedra?
I love it. Phaedra. Yeah, it's great. It's a good car. It's roomy. It's got everything you need. It breaks down every 2 minutes.
Yeah,
it's perfect. It's like Dance Libra, but just a bit more.
Yeah, I already talked about it. I think the concept of such a big car with all the luxury is just...
That's it. It's just not a van, but it's a super luxurious people carrier.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm all for this.
Kids shouldn't be in this. Kids should not be in this. This should be a people carrier of a luxurious Italian seaside resort. That's what this should be.
But you mean that's what it's intended for? You shouldn't put kids in it who only smear the Alcantara with ice cream and everything. No, I agree. Yeah, it's just for stylish. It's like
don't drive a V-Class. Drive a Phaedra.
Drive this. Yeah,
good. We agree on that.
I'm fully with you.
Okay. Your first choice.
Okay, my first choice. I have 10,000 euros. It's been impossible to find the car I want. So I found one, but that's not the ideal one. It's the Fiat Multipla,
of course.
The original one. So not the 50s one, but the 90s one. With the dolphin nose.
Why is your top 3 so predictable, yet I did not predict it? It is so you.
That says something about you, not about me.
This is
Mr. Host the podcast.
This is a very good Multipla, though.
It's a good one, right?
Green with black bumpers.
It has to have the black bumpers. You can't have painted bumpers because that's not part of the concept. So it has to be black. So it's green, verde, whatever.
It's really good.
And it's got a blue interior.
Oh,
actually,
really
I wanted a brown one. There were brown Multipli. I think you posted one.
I posted one. It's crap now.
With red interiors.
Yeah, it's crap now.
That's the best version. And it's a diesel. I don't want a diesel, but beggars can be choosers.
Yeah.
So I pay 3,900 euros to buy this in Avignon. Mm-hmm. It's probably not going to look as nice as it does here because it's a French ad, and this is pictures in a showroom, but I'll probably have to pick it up from a scrapyard or something. Yeah, knowing the French. But this is it. So I pay 4,000 euros to buy the car. I pay another 4 to have the engine swapped.
Oh, yeah,
and then I have 2 left for spare parts.
I talked about this with Bart, our first guest. I think we car spotters live in a bubble where we think that the Multipla is slowly being appreciated.
Isn't it?
Everyone outside Carspotter still hates the Multipla. Everyone still hates it. We're just in a bubble that is slowly starting to
those are the people who go to a modern museum, see a painting and say, oh, I can do that too. Why didn't you do it? You could have been rich.
Do it, bitch. Do it.
So those are people who just don't have taste. Sorry, people who don't have taste. But then again, you're probably not listening to this podcast in the first place. So.
Oh, you're saying my podcast is tasteful. Wow.
Well, let's not overreact, but with me in it, it's quite tasteful, actually.
Yeah, all the 307s and Sonics. Wow, so tasteful. You're going to hate my number 1.
Ooh, I'm looking forward to it already.
I already showed it to Dan, and he hates it too. I think this is the best MPV ever made. I think this is the most desirable MPV ever made.
Ooh.
And you are going to disagree so hard. It's a Ford S-Max.
Okay, dear listeners, thank you for listening. This was the 3rd episode of the podcast. We're super happy that you listened to us, and see you next time. Bye.
Okay, hear me out.
I'm not going to...
The S-Max?
Smacks.
With the Smacks? The Smacks.
Ford Smacks.
With the 2.5 Volvo 5-cylinder engine.
Huh?
With a turbo
come
on
again.
it. I remember this car being released in 2006, right before the new Mondeo. This is what struck people to Ford. This was a good generation of Fords. People that drove Audi A4s, they went to Ford to buy a 2.5 5-cylinder. I vividly remember this car. And it was for me the first MPV that was ever desirable.
I'm truly sorry about this, listeners. But I shall now talk about my KitchenAid blender, which is very interesting. It's black. It's got a glass kind of cover. You can put bananas in it. This is right interesting, right?
Come on! It is blue too.
It's blue. It's a Ford. It's
okay. Listen, Ford was.
No, but I don't hate it. I just don't feel anything. It's like
Ford was late.
line.
Ford was very late to the MPV party, right? They came with this.
Ford is always very late at everything.
At everything, agreed. That's what I hope.
Sorry, Ford.
I honestly hope they're gonna rise again in 2 years, but probably not. This car. With the 2.5 engine, it's just so desirable to me. I think
and you're actually going to pay. How much are they asking?
It has a panoramic roof. It is from 2007. It looks faultless. 220 HP, has driven 170,000, and it still costs 9,995 euros.
Jesus Christ, for a panoramic roof.
This is a young timer that's going to be super interesting because I think a lot of people will actually consider this. This is the first MPV that was actually a pleasure to drive sporty. Dads that were used to Focuses that drove well could now buy this, put their kids in it, make them nauseous. That is perfect to me. It's perfect.
I really don't know what to say about this. Paying 99,000 euros for a panoramic roof stuck on a a car.
Good.
No, I don't know what to say.
Look, it's marvelous.
I'm almost offended.
Why? Because I took the
this.
I doubted putting a Grand Espace in here.
No, I get it. I really, to be honest, I get it. You're a Ford fan. It drives nicely. It's kind of sporty. It doesn't look bad, but it's so boring.
I think your Scenic is boring.
I don't have a Scenic.
The Scenic you chose is boring.
No, it's not.
Good. It's
You try driving a 15-year-old Scenic down the highway and with all the lights flashing. Well, you come back about that. You come back to that. It's not boring at all. There's nothing boring about your steering wheel coming off at 120 an hour.
I love how we went completely different directions with this search.
We did, didn't we?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was good.
Nice switch up of events.
Yeah.
Right? That also brings us to the end of today's episode, Maurice. Thank you for being a guest. Thank you for being here. I really enjoyed it.
This is my house. I'm always here. This is my house.
Thank you for letting me in when I rang the doorbell. And thank you for being a guest. It was fun.
It was great fun. Thanks.
So now we're going car spotting, right?
We are.
Where are we going?
Watergraafsmeer.
Okay, let's do it. Okay. See you next time, guys. Bye-bye.